Okay, the plan is to make this circle into a glittery Christmas bubble. So I am going to start with putting some white specks at the areas I want to have highlights, which are around here. So I'm pressing hard, and this is white Polychromos, and I'm just putting random dots. The ones in the middle are slightly bigger, and as I'm approaching to the periphery of this circle, I just make them more scattered and smaller. So this is the first move. I'm working on light gray pastel mat. So the ones that are here basically are very, very small, scattered, and the pressure I'm using is sort of medium hard pressure, because I want these to stay where they are. Once I've done that, so these are my highlights, and if you want to use any other surfaces, you can use exactly the same strategy. Then I'm going to use a bright yellow color. I'm going to use the dark cadmium yellow here. Let's try. Yeah, I think it's a good color. So I'm just going to start from around here, going in between those dots, and add in some more dots between these the other ones. So basically creating glitter, or anything that shines through, is basically putting down different colors dots and mixing them together, and that would create glitter. That's all there is to it. Nothing magical, although it will look magical once we finish it. But so these are just circular movements, circular strokes, going in between those. And if you're those white dots, and if you happen to overlap the whites, don't worry, because we're gonna inverse them. We are gonna put some more whites on the top of what we already have, just going in between them. And if you just go randomly, is even better. If you cover some of them, it's even better, because we don't want to create a regimented coverage. We want to create something really random. So this is our lightest colors. Then I'm going to get my white and go over some of these yellows in the middle to make them slightly lighter. If you have another lighter color, like a cream, or if you have ivory or another brand that offers you a lighter color, you can use that. But I am doing this to show you that you don't need many pencils to do this. Just a yellow, a couple of browns would do. So basically I just made parts in the middle slightly lighter. Then I'm going to get something slightly darker. I'm going to use the brown ochre from Polychromos and just start making the shadows around this edge. Now I'm using really gentle pressure, and I'm still putting dots going round and round. And the ones that are here around the periphery, they are slightly darker, and as we approach the middle, we decrease the pressure and put less and less dark specks or dark dots. So it gradually goes from light to dark, and it's all dots. We create dots. After that, I'm going to go slightly darker using raw umber to go around this area. I'm still going around those white specks, although I'm not bothered if I am actually overlapping. And depending on the source of light or the reference that you're looking at, you darken parts that are in the shadow and leave the parts that are in the light slightly lighter. And what I'm doing now essentially is to create the shadows around the glittery parts. It's good to have a perfect circle for this. So if you can use a template, a 2p coin, anything like that, it would be good. Okay. Then I'm gonna brighten this because this is yellowish. So I'm gonna use something reddish. This one is burnt sienna in polys. So I'm gonna make some red warmer specks here. And it also is slightly darker. So this part is darker. And as it goes on the top here, it becomes lighter and lighter. I tend to use all my colors everywhere in different densities because I believe that if you have a color in something as round and integrated as this, there shouldn't be any color left in any parts because that would make the whole shape come together. Then at the end, I mean, it's not the end, it's near the end. It's Caput Mortem Violet, which is a very sort of like a dark violet-y red. So I'm just gonna darken this part. So essentially what makes something shine is the contrast between the shine, the highlights and the dark parts. It's the contrast that makes it shine, not the actual light or the light or the light colors. And then I would like to add some red to this. I am gonna use, you can either use something like an India red in Polychromos or any, just to make it warmer, because when yellow becomes dark it becomes reddish and I mean at the end it would become black, but it's good to have like a warm color at least in these lighter areas. So I'm just gonna glaze this part, this lighter color, this warmer color, which is reddish, and just give it a little bit of warmth. You can add orange if you want, or like a bright red. So at the very end, I am going to actually make the dark parts really dark. This one is walnut brown. It's actually burnt umber. It could be walnut brown or burnt umber or Van Dyke brown or anything like that, just to darken up these parts. Right, so I am quite happy with this, and there is one step which is dark, one step forward. This is dark sepia. So again, just darkening this, and I'm going to use dark sepia for creating the shadow underneath this, a little bit on the top here as well. Okay, so now I'm going to get my original yellow, which was the dark cadmium yellow, and just go over everything just to make everything integrate together. We might have to add a little bit of more dark to the dark parts. We'll see what happens, but at the moment all I am doing is just to soften in those grains that are showing where I don't want them to show on Pastelmat. If you're working on a smooth paper, probably you won't have this problem, but on Pastelmat you always have to soften the grains. So I'm just going on the yellow parts and also on the dark parts with this yellow, because on Pastelmat you can always soften your grains and the specks of the paper. You can smooth them and varnish them with a little bit of lighter color. So okay, this is now good and soft. So to enhance the whites, I can use the Polychromos white, which is not a very good white. Actually, it's a very, to go over other things, but you can go over them. But I have another pencil to go over the whites to make them look brighter. So I'm softening and going all over these. And as I did at the beginning, I am actually making these smaller and smaller as we go towards the periphery. And if you have a very white pencil like this one, which is the Museum Aquarel pencil, the watercolor. You can use it wet. You can basically damp it a little bit on the tip. Make sure it's very, very clean. So just dip it in a little bit of water or a sponge and just go over these parts. And if you don't press too hard, they will make a good, it will make a good white speck on your lighter part, on your darker parts. You can attempt to do a little bit in here as well, in the dark part, just to let it shine through everywhere. And then again, getting the yellow. It could be any yellow really, and just going around, making sure that this glittery ball is really soft and smooth. And then at the very end, what makes a shape look three-dimensional is when you put a shadow underneath. So I'm just gonna make this shadow. I mean, you can use any dark color. This one is this one is burnt umber. It could be walnut brown, it could be gray, it could be even black. And as it goes away from the ball, from the shape, it becomes scattered and less solid. It becomes diffused. Then I'm going to get my dark sepia and darken right under this ball to give it even more three-dimension. Just scatter it out, and here you go. You have a perfectly shiny, glittery Christmas bauble. Thank you for listening to this video and watching it. I hope you find it helpful. Please subscribe to my video channel for more technical YouTube videos. Thank you.